Welcome to I Heart Geek. And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek, another Sunday night extravaganza where we're talking about WandaVision. I mean, we're talking about Mandalorian.
No,
we're talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
What was that there, Christina?
well, because I support both of them, I have an amazing stainless steel water bottle.
Very
Falcon,
cool.
Winter Soldier.
Nice. So this is episode 1 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is going to be our panel for the next 6 weeks, unless something happens. This is your panel. I'm Dub and I do stuff. I'm here with Skeeter, and I'm here with Christina the Cheeky Chi, and we're here with Tyler, and we're here with Griffin. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Really good. I'm really
Amazing.
good.
Amazing. Yeah.
Right off, what did we watch? Oh, can I say this before we start? Spoilers, if you haven't watched it, pause it, go back and watch it. Kind of the same way we do all these. You have to watch the show first because we're not going to hold back much. I take that back. We are holding back things, but we'll get to that later. What was everybody's first impression? Don't go too deep, but what was your first impression? Start with Skeeter.
Action right off the bat. I mean, we were introduced to. Well, no, sorry, take that back. Rewind. The initial putting on of the suit, the tie, the dark, the putting the shield into the bag. I was like, oh no. No.
Hold on to that thought, though. Hold on to that thought because we'll get to it as we go
but
through.
I was like, what's going on? And then the action. Holy Moses.
Yep.
Like, it kicked off exactly like we said in the pre-show, like for our Patreon guys. Like, it kicked off just like we said it would. Action. Loved it.
Yep.
Loved it.
Tyler, what was your first impression of this?
It's Marvel doing what Marvel does.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a great thing.
Okay.
I tell you, if it didn't ruin people's jobs, I would say give me all their stories this way. I'll take 6-9 episodes instead of 1 2-hour movie all day long. The cinema quality
would too.
just blew me away immediately. It was awesome.
Griffin?
There was 2 aspects of it that I immediately loved. I knew it was going to be action. I mean, they were talking about how it's going to be like 6 cinematic movie MCU level, to whereas WandaVision was a sitcom, which it was really great. But I think it's going to be another hit for the MCU. I do think that a lot more of the audience is tuned into this one than WandaVision, and I think that it's going to get better reception.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Christina?
It absolutely grabs you by the seat of your marble boxers, and for 40 minutes, it does not let go.
At all. It was amazing. So that's my first impression. Just like I said with WandaVision, they're finally figuring out how to make a comic book into a TV show.
Yes.
This was reading the comic book and waiting for next week's for next month's issue.
Yes.
As you close
Absolutely.
the page on it, because that was the perfect cliffhanger. It was the action beats were very comic book. The bank scene was comic book. The characters were comic book. The footnotes. I could almost see the yellow box at the bottom said, "See issue 814."
Right.
You could see that when they were talking about the snap.
Yeah. Even the way they let you know where you were at in the world in general had that comic book feel. And I loved that.
So people that don't read comics, this is time to read comics. And we will get kind of a list of what they're pulling stuff from as we go. It's got to be probably from 4 or 5 different sources, I'd guess. I think. Okay. So we're going to go through this scene at a time. So we're going to start with scene 1, and very short, but little misdirect right off the. And you don't know it's a misdirect, but you think that we are going in and we're going to see a funeral. Are you guys happy with this choice or no?
It was well
Skeeter?
done. I'm just glad we didn't see a funeral.
Yeah.
You're glad we didn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was put together well. It kept the continuity, with the shield, the bag, the leather bag, and the voice in the background. You hear the conversation. How does it feel? It feels like it's somebody else's. Like that was awesome.
Yeah.
That really kept it going. But yeah, that first thought was, no way, come on, really? This is how we're gonna go?
Isn't that kind of what everyone was expecting going in, though? I was positive we're going to start with a funeral.
Absolutely.
And
At
we don't
some
know that
point.
Steve's dead. We don't know that he's dead yet.
Yeah,
Right.
he could be on the moon.
Could be.
We're gonna that was a shot fired, and we'll get to that soon. But that was definitely a shot fired on that one.
Yep.
So let's go on to scene 2, which is the action sequence. Wow.
Every moment.
This was 11 and a half minutes that did not let up. It didn't stop.
It was that long?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't feel like it at all, did it?
No, not at all.
I would have been okay with that being the entire show.
Like, get a plot line.
You didn't need, he jumped in a freaking moving helicopter.
Right.
Like he was like, oh my gosh.
Talk about setting the bar high.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a beautiful. So what hit you guys about this scene? We'll go around the table real quick. What hit you about the whole action sequence? And let's start with Christina this time.
I think it really shows who Falcon is. Like, we get to see him in the Avengers, but we really get to see Falcon completely by himself doing what Falcon does best for 11 freaking minutes.
Yeah. Griffin?
I mean, yeah, I had to take a second and just, I mean, everybody's talking about the action and how great it was. Me and Dad were sitting there and we were watching it, and he was just like, "Whoa, what?" And I was like, "Wait, no, that is not possible." Whoa! And then I'm like, "Wait, no, this is take that off. Like, just enjoy it. It's so good. Like, it's so good. I loved it. I thought it was great."
Tyler?
I was just surprised at how utilitarian squirrel suits are.
No kidding.
It was amazing. The sequences are just, how big is their budget? It's absurd.
Yeah.
A lot. I think that this could have been Avengers 4.
But I agree with Christina. It really let Falcon let loose, and you got an idea. Okay, this guy is gonna be our hero.
On top of that, when
we'll get to
if
more
you
of that
didn't
later
care
on.
about Falcon before this, you cared about him after that scene.
Oh yeah.
He was just like, yes. Skeeter?
Dude, craziness. Like the squirrel suits, the way we used what was the drone?
Red Wing.
Red Wing.
Yeah.
The whole piece, like the attention to detail that Marvel actually took in this one. I mean, we've seen Marvel kind of really step up their game as far as sticking with comic book, with sticking with the lore. If you look, right at George St. Pierre or Bartok or whatever his name is, his down to the colors of what he's wearing is comic book, straight to the book. I was like, well, that's what I'm looking for now from Marvel, like full on, because I saw it in Wanda. Now I'm seeing it here.
Very good.
Well, even that moment where the pilot, where he's looking in the window and the pilot's like, somebody's there, and it's such a comic book moment. Like, that's not an everyday film thing. So
here's the things that I picked up on that I wanted to share with on this scene. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but the soldier that's on the ground that's helping out Falcon the whole time. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but he does come to play a very important sidekick character in the current comic books. I haven't decided if we're gonna say that on air or not, but I don't want to give spoilers to people who don't read at all. It's very easy to find if you want to know. Look it up what his name is, and yeah, I want to see this. This
Yeah,
will be amazing.
you're gonna see headlines coming across social media.
Oh, huge.
Yeah, it's going to be huge.
Let's see. The main bad guy was George St. Pierre, MMA legend, and my gosh, he's short. I always thought he was like a monster, but I mean, he's wrestling or fights at like 130 something. So,
Right. Well, you got to see that size comparison with Cap.
yeah.
before.
Let's see. There is no previous mention anywhere in any of the Marvel encyclopedias for LAF, whatever that is that they're talking about, where they're dealing with LAF. It doesn't exist. It's made up, and it's not a comic book thing at all.
Do you think that's going to come into play? That's going to be important, or is it just going to kind of?
I don't
fade
think
away?
so. I think that's just Marvel doesn't usually put stuff out on if it's unless it's like if it's an Easter egg, it'll show up more. But if it's just something they make up right then, it's usually
Right.
fades away pretty fast.
Well, I think they're either going to, it's my belief that they're either going to pick up that, be a part of Flag Smashers in some way and Zemo, or they're going to be destroyed by them to show just how bad Zemo and them are.
And we don't know what the LA is. It the Liberian something? Is it? We don't know.
I don't know. I'd like to see him develop it because we have so many great comics that it would be nice to begin to see some new villains and new character development. Do I think they will? Probably not, but do I want them to? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they're just going to be part of the big baddie overall. Music is standard for Marvel, but it was still fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are killing it with the music anymore. It's just that very militaristic kind of sound they had underneath was gorgeous. And finally, the Red Wing, I believe that is now Marvel's version of the droid. You liked Red Wing like you like R2D2.
He even chirped. He even had chirps like
he had
R2.
chirp.
Mm-hmm.
That was a direct steal. Well, you can do that. Disney owns them both. So what are they going to do? Sue themselves?
Not really stealing. They're just borrowing. I love Red Wing so much.
A little disappointed he's not a bird.
The part where Falcon tells Black Widow, tell him thank you. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I fell in love with him in that moment even more. And to watch him just protect Falcon 100% in this moment was genius.
Yeah. He's going to be an interesting side character.
Yeah.
They have it set up so that he can definitely develop some kind of artificial intelligence. He has 10 billion IPs going into him per second. I'm like, well, yeah, that's smarter than me.
Yeah, Sam can fix him on the fly in a patio.
Kind of amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Now let's go to scene 3, the Tunisia. First sign of the big story arc that we're going to get is the Flag Smashers. We'll go into more of that stuff when we get to the other scene, but it's a nice little foreshadowing of what's going to happen. And then the moon comment, that wasn't directed at the fans. That was directed at DC. Because who has a base on orbiting the moon? Justice League.
Yep.
That was a direct. Oh, we don't worry about anything up on the moon. That's stupid.
Don't believe anything. Yeah, I can tell you. Yeah.
No, that was a direct DC peek. And I don't think there's really. Did you guys catch anything else on the scene that we need to talk about?
Looking into Tunisia, the only thing I could come across was the significance of Tunisia. Really was that. It first appeared in the comics with New Thunderbolts.
Oh, really?
Issue 16. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that you're hoping that
that kind of adds to my hopes there. And as far as the moon, didn't Cap take over S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point and they had a base on the moon?
Did they? That's possible.
The Watcher. Uatu.
Maybe
that's about the time that I fell off of a lot of Marvel comics. Is that just?
From the
I don't think they go that far.
The blue area.
Yeah. Okay. So we're up to scene 4, and this is the scene that made me wonder if I'm going to like this show.
Really?
So much goodwill was given to me on this first part, and then this happens. The Smithsonian. Falcon gave up the shield. He doesn't deserve the shield. I don't care what happens to him at this point. Suddenly, all that goodwill, I'm like, oh my gosh, I care about Falcon now. I don't anymore, because that was so against character. Yes, Christina, go ahead.
It was, but it wasn't. And the reason I say that is because you have to look at the fact that he was gone for 5 years. He was back for a quick minute, dealt with all the Thanos stuff, and then Cap's like, oh, by the way, here you go. I feel like he was really overwhelmed, and he had so much love and respect for Cap that he genuinely doesn't know, because Cap has something he doesn't have. Falcon has his equipment and his genius and who he is, but Cap's a super soldier, and that makes a difference. And I feel like that's an overwhelming moment. I can't imagine just popping back into the world 5 years later and expecting to pick up probably the heaviest mantle in the Marvel universe.
Griffin, what about you? What do you think about this?
I think I mean, I was feeling definitely against it when I saw it, but I think it's normal for the journey, for his arc, because I don't want to get ahead in the episode, but I think you find out that I think that Sam knows he made a mistake, and he's like, no, that's mine. Like, so I think it's normal, but I hope they correct it, because I believe that Sam is.
Well, we've seen the previews. We know that they get the shield back.
Mm-hmm. But I just think that, if anyone's gonna do it, I mean, Cap chose Sam, so I think that's good enough. Like,
and after everybody finishes there, I have some thoughts on it. But okay, Tyler, what did you think of that?
I didn't like it either, but I can't blame the guy. Like Christina said, it's a lot put on him at once. Like you said, we'll get into it later. I think he was kind of hoping that shield would just sit there, maybe until hold this for a while, until I can make up my mind. But it was kind of a bummer. He didn't take it up at the end of that scene, but it wasn't unexpected.
Skeeter?
There was conflict. He was conflicted from the beginning. He was conflicted from Endgame when he was given that shield. He was conflicted at the beginning of the show. You still heard it in the echoic voice in his brain saying, it feels like somebody else's, or it belongs to somebody else. Like, we heard that. We saw that. So the conflict in him, he just wanted to keep it someplace safe. They built this whole thing for Steve. One of the things I wanted to call out, which I thought was kind of cool, was when he was, up there at the podium talking about Steve, talking about Captain America. He was on his left. So, like, I mean, if you did notice, I kind of noticed that. I was like, they, once again, the little things that Marvel does to kind of raise your, give you those goosebumps, to give you the feels. They took care of that. But but giving away, like, I was like, what is he doing? Why is this happening?
Well, here's my huge issue with it. They just dealt with S.H.I.E.L.D. literally going evil. So you're going to tell me this guy is going to give the symbol of all symbols that was given to him by Cap himself and just give it back to just a government entity? I could have bought it if he would have given it to somebody else. That I could have bought, that he feels is worthy. I don't see him just giving it out to nobody.
See, and I saw
a huge issue with that.
I saw it as him putting it in what he felt was a place of honor, because they did it nationally. And then I really felt like at that moment that he was going to go out and earn it. Like, I don't feel like he had felt like he had earned it yet.
As a character, it made me lose all respect. No matter what his motivation was, I lost all respect.
How about that guy that took it from him? Oh, you made the right choice. Like, you weren't going to be a good Cap.
Yeah,
that was kind of douchey.
That was very
douchey.
There's one thing I want to point out in the Smithsonian part. If you look back at the show it twice, they show my favorite comic book cover in
Yeah.
all of comics twice, which is Cap punching Hitler in the face. They show
Mhm.
it 2 times. I'm like, and we're not talking like a recreation with a picture. It's the actual artwork. And I'm like, that's awesome. And that was one of those moments. It's like, I'm glad I'm a comic reader because that was
That whole walkthrough was cool. All the imagery and everything, all the things they were showing
the
you, the
memories.
callbacks to Cap, and it was really cool. They were even throwing in little things like that list of the vanished. I guess that whole list is a list of Marvel employees that worked
Yeah.
on Falcon, and little things like that. It's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I wish I would have played a little bit more with a pause, but I had like
Yeah.
6 movies I had to watch this week. You're welcome, all.
You were a busy fella.
You are welcome, Patreon subscribers. Just saying. Let's see. Let's go up to scene number 5, the nightmare. This legitimately threw me off kilter before I realized it was a dream.
Mhm.
I did
I know what you
not.
mean.
I'll let you guys just discuss for a minute, but this literally, it threw me for a loop.
I'm just going to say it was really so well done that it didn't have any of that dream sequence feel to it. So it felt like we are here and now.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, did someone say the word to him again? What happened? And nothing was dated. It looked like it could have happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Griffin, I know you have something to say on there.
Yeah, I thought it was well done, and I was sitting there and I was like, oh, and then Dad looked up and he was like, wait, what's going on? And I was just like, this is it. And I loved how they just jumped in. I loved how it wasn't there was no transition. It was just boom.
Yeah.
It was really well done.
Tyler?
Oh, it just took me back for a second. How are they going to start off here? Like, what's going on? Every preview I've seen, he's got short hair, so you're already throwing me off quite a bit.
Yeah.
But the one thing that struck me is when he woke up and then he was on the floor. On the second watch, that one hit me. Like, I had to think about that.
I have a theory for that.
And well, I was kind of taken back by that. So okay. And then of course, poking around on the internet, somebody posted a picture side by side of Sam talking to Cap about how he wasn't able to sleep very well. That's the bed, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's too soft. That's kind of wild.
And they're from the exact same era, so of course that's going to happen.
Right.
Skeeter?
I freaked out. I was like, what just happened? Like this, wait, all the pictures, all the trailers, he's short haired, he's clean cut. They're kind of joking with each other. There's this, relationship, this Tango and Cash kind of thing with these two. Why is this happening right now?
Yeah.
And then boom, he wakes up on the floor. But you're paying attention to everything. You see everything that happens. And then, bam, he wakes up on the floor and I'm like, that's kind of weird. But I did the same thing as Tyler, kind of poking around to see what kind of Easter eggs are out there, where, in creating notes, and to see that picture of, Sam saying, hey, it's the bed. It's too soft. Like, this is a direct callback to that. Once again, doing their homework, paying attention. Yeah. It's good.
Absolutely.
Next scene up, we have the therapy session. 2 things I want to hit on this. First off, him and the shrink have a fantastic chemistry.
So
I want to watch an hour of them doing dialogue on screen because straight through, they are just they play off each other so well.
He's an ex-soldier.
Yeah, but they gave you so much exposition without it feeling like exposition.
Yeah.
It felt like this is relevant. This is happening. I need to hear this, but it doesn't feel like we're explaining because, well, you're going to have to catch this later. And you do, but they did a great job of it. And my other thought on this, Bucky's messed up.
Well, that's not a big surprise.
He's damaged.
Let's start with you this time, Tyler. What did you think of this scene?
Oh, the wallpaper was fantastic. He is damaged. He's got a lot to work through, and I thought it was cool that they have a system for him making amends. They have the 3 magic rules.
Yeah,
and obviously he's only going to follow one to the T. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he can deal with what he's got going on.
Skeeter?
Like you said, the chemistry was was wonderful. It was almost like she knew what he was talking about with regards to the parking garage,
I think she
that kind of
totally knew
stuff.
it, but
I
she's
think
not going to say.
no, I think she totally knew what's going on. I think she's, it's possible that she's like working, she's worked with somewhere, something
Yeah.
in this universe before, so she has an idea.
Well, she was a shield
So,
agent. She wasn't just a
yeah.
soldier.
Yeah, no, she has to be like Shield HR or something. So, like she knows what's going on.
Christina?
She doesn't let him get away with platitudes. In her own way, she is a hero. She's making him deal with these issues, deal with these things, and she calls him on his BS.
Yeah. And that's what he needs.
Yeah.
He needs it.
Griffin?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just, I mean, you guys hit it spot on. Really, I wanted to see, see him messed up, and see his character really fleshed out. And I think that's what we're getting,
Yeah. I think we're getting our best version of Winter Soldier Bucky that we could get. I mean, this is the better version of Bucky than we had when he was actually Cap in the comic books. This is now my favorite version of Winter Soldier. What, Christina?
I also love the moment where he's so completely human, where he says, I had a quick minute of peace in Wakanda.
Yeah.
And that's what she pulled out of him, was that realism.
Yeah. So scene 7, Bucky and the old man. First off, Unique as a D-bag. I wish the old man would have punched him with the top of his garbage can. Hey man, hey, it's like
that would have completed the scene.
It's like Monique, only with a U, because I'm unique. Oh, jeez, I hate this.
Influencers.
Yeah.
He definitely is a blue check mark on Twitter. I'm just saying.
I don't think he's a repeat character. We're good.
I don't think so either. Yeah, so that's a fun little scene. That it's just very short, but we get back into them later, so we're not going to discuss that too much. Let's go up to scene 8. Sam goes home. First thing I want to talk about is the music on here. They keep that same theme with that Bayou slide guitar. It's like that. It just worked for me. Let's see. I Uncle Sam. Ha ha ha. Did you get it? Because he called him Uncle Sam because Uncle Sam.
Sean couldn't stop laughing.
Oh.
You and him are the same spirit animal.
No, I'm kind of irritated by it. I thought that was the obvious joke, but hey, why not? And last thing I want to say, and then I'll let you guys discuss this scene in general. Sam is in the wrong about the boat with his sister. Completely. This is yet another time Sam is wrong. So are we seeing a pattern?
I'm going to go back to the same thing. He was completely gone for 5 years. He came back to a world that was completely changed. And his sister had 5 years to process this, to do this, and to make this decision. For him, it's happening right now, real time, no warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it all right.
So do I think that he's wrong? No. Do I think he's handling it wrong? Absolutely. Because I also think she needs to recognize that he's now back. He's made some great sacrifices, and she needs to let him take a breath.
Yeah. Fair enough. Griffin?
Oh, I'll throw a curveball right here. I'm gonna go way off, but I like to. When I saw it, it threw me back to not even in the same cinematic deal, but Transformers 3. How in this
that? Wow.
how in this show, yeah, how in this show, Falcon comes back and he's like, "We can fix this. I'm good. Like I'm an Avenger. I'm all this stuff." And it's kind of like how Sam is trying to get a job because he's graduated college, the main character, the protagonist in Transformers, and he's like, I was a hero. Like I saved the world twice, and
Yeah.
I think I'm good. Like I need this, and people are telling him, look, that's great, but so I really like how, to bring it into the show here, I really like how Falcon is struggling. Like, yeah, he's an Avenger. Yeah, people know him and they want to take pictures with him. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, he's not taken care of by Stark
Yeah.
anymore.
And we'll
He's,
get to that in 2 scenes because that's
yeah.
something we are going to be hitting on.
Hmm.
Tyler, what about you, bud?
I think he just needs to go get a job and let his sister do her thing. Just let her
Thank
sail
you.
the boat. Let her do
Thank
it.
you.
She's been toiling away. She knows what
Sh-
needs to be done. You know, he's
Yeah,
been off
he
fighting.
can't come in and protect her. She's been protecting herself. You know,
Right. You know,
and
let
that's
her
the
keep
most
taking
manly
charge.
thing you can do right there is let her do what she knows she has to do.
But at the same
Yeah.
time, he just gave up Captain America's legacy, so maybe he's just trying to hold on to
Well,
something.
and she tied
You got
the
something there.
boat. She tied the boat to their parents' house. That I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys all picked up
Yeah.
on that.
Oh,
So it's more than just
The
the
sister,
boat.
yeah.
She took a loan out and she put the house as lien, so they're gonna lose both.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. So for me, I feel like he's losing. He feels like he's losing two legacies.
Yeah,
Mm,
very
okay.
much so. Skeeter?
And you see it like when he's on the boat, when he actually goes out to the boat, and he's doing his thing, he's trying to get it running, and he kind of takes that moment and looks at those pictures and is like, I think he's realizing at that point, wow,
Mm-hmm.
what do I have to do? What do I
Yeah.
need to do to make this work for her? And I do feel like, in that scene, in the time where he comes back, it's like, hey, I'm back. Look at me.
And yeah.
And it's just like, okay, welcome back. It's, like when we came home from, boot camp, or when we got out of the military, we expected pomp and circumstance, and we got,
Nope. Good
yeah,
job.
sorry, we can't hire you. You have no experience that
Yeah.
leads you to this job. Thanks.
It happens.
It does.
Okay, let's jump up to scene 9, date night. Now, date night makes me so excited because every time they want to take a breath in a comic book series, when it's a long arc, they have the date night issue where two people go on a date that are like, oh yes, you want to see this, and it never turns out well, ever. And it's going fine the entire time until the last page, like what this did. These two had a great chemistry. I loved seeing Bucky and this girl. I mean, it's not going anywhere because let's be honest, he's damaged, and I don't think anybody is prepared to handle that. But that gut punch at the end, when you put everything together, when he goes upstairs and sees the old man and the oh, I literally I had a tear coming out of my eye because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's who he killed, and he's trying to make amends. Ouch.
Yeah.
Let's start on Griffin this time on this.
I actually, that was probably out of everything, that was my favorite part of the entire episode. Because before, with the list and making the amends thing, I thought he was just hanging out with the old war buddy.
So did I.
I thought because they were sitting there talking and I was watching it and I was just kind of sitting there like, oh my God, I love that. That is so great because he has nothing in common. It's just easier to hang out with someone who gets him.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I just watching that shot of them sitting at the bar and them talking about, about things. I loved it.
With you saying that now, I wish that I don't know what kind of pace they're going for and what happens next week, but I kind of wish they could have held that off a week even, because that was an extreme
Yeah.
punch, and I think if it would have waited another week, it would have been even more. Tyler, what about you?
The date was really cringy. It's kind of that was he's hard to have a good time with right now.
Well, she's
but,
like a girl that can have a fun time with
but
anybody.
hey, yeah, she
She's
did
a party
great.
girl.
I give her props. She held it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was wondering if he knew the whole time that the old man, that his name's in his little
he
notepad.
knew. That's why he's there.
Known for a very long time.
He had to do recon on it, in fact.
Right, and that's probably why he is where he is. That's he's close by in town or something, so he just hangs out there.
And then that humanizing moment, just like, oh,
and that's part of his making amends, and
Yeah.
he just can't bring himself to do it though. You don't want to hurt him.
Skeeter?
I I mean, watching this with Griff, sitting there, uh, I Griffin pulled it right out of the box. He was like, "Dude, like, I love that he's sitting there with somebody that's actually like his age." And then we hear, of course, later actually how old he is, but like that's what I was thinking. I started going back to Fresno, the guy, because I'm
Yeah.
from Fresno, Ace.
Yep,
That's
that's
where
why
I went
that's
back
who I thought
to,
it was.
and that's who I thought that was. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool!" And then no, it just kind of went all kinds of different directions. And I just, when he goes up and visits, like the date was super cool. I was like, she's like, "What's with the glove?"
For
Yeah.
circulation.
For circulation. I'm like, okay. And then when he goes back to the apartment, he goes back to the old man, and he sees that the whole shrine, and he's just like, that was just the gut punch. I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
And it
So-
was a gut punch.
Yeah.
Christina?
So I picked up on it when they were in the bar together the first time. Whenever he started talking about his son and how he was killed and there was no answer. So Sean's sitting next to me, and he this is happening. I'm like, oh, and I started crying right then and there. And Sean's like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, "You don't know." He's like, "No, why are you crying?" And I just said, "Just keep watching, just keep watching." So when it hit this scene, Sean's like, "Oh," he's like, "That's what you were talking about." So I don't know why, but I picked up on it immediately that he was just there to help to make it better. And then when you actually see it, I cried all over again.
Yeah.
This is why, ladies and gentlemen, we don't film these episodes right after we watch them.
Because it could be a bad thing. Okay. Well, actually, we don't, because I want to give people a chance to watch it. Because we're not going to do spoilers. Well, we are going to do spoilers. Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. Scene 10: the street attack with the flag smashers. You know what? I'm going to spoil it right now, ladies and gentlemen. We have super soldier serum. That's the only explanation. And no,
They're
it's
not mutants.
No, it's not. It's not Red Skull. It is. It's probably Flag Smashers must have worked with Hydra or something, and we have the super soldier serum. This is going to be amazing. I'm in. I'm suddenly so back in this show, even after all the Sam stuff. What did you guys take from? And that, I mean, that fight scene was pretty incredible too. Let's start with Christina this time.
That was complete bad. I can't say a bad word. It was
Bad
amazing.
juju. Yeah.
I mean, bad aspirations.
There you go.
It was another moment that picked you up and never let you go. From the moment he comes blowing out of the windows, and then they start running, and Torres comes in, and just like when he goes flying. Sorry, I was like, same thing as you, Dub. That's a freaking super soldier. Like, I freaked.
Yeah.
And I just think everything about it was really well done.
Griffin.
I'll say I'm intrigued. I hope that they're not I know that they are the main. I guess the main antagonist group.
Depends on if Zemo's with him or not.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Yeah. But I think the only thing that kind of hit me the wrong way, and I don't want to take it out on the actor who plays Torres or anything, but the writing with Torres' character, before I knew who, we're not going to talk about that, but I just felt I didn't like how they tried to bring in the modern day, the phone, we're following these signs, the flags, Matt. I didn't like that, and I didn't like when he goes to. I was sitting there watching with Dad, and he's like, "I don't know what the jurisdiction is, but freeze!" And then he just gets stomped on, and I'm like, "Wait, who is this guy? Is he a Marine? Is he an agent? Like, what is he? Because he had no right going in and trying to apprehend him at all. He was gonna fail at the He's not even in the country. He has no jurisdiction. So I didn't know what the plan. I don't blame the actor. I don't think the writing really hit me there.
I think that's one of those ones when by the time we finish the series, you're gonna go back and watch like, yo, that made perfect sense.
I hope so.
And a lot of these plot holes we'll find.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a lot of grace on that.
Yeah.
Like, well, you know what? If I can go back and watch it and it makes sense at the end, then I forgive it.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler.
That scene I thought it was a great way to introduce them. They're all clearly up to something. What do they need all that money for? You know, and they have, abilities. So, that was a great way to introduce them. One quick thing is, I don't know if you noticed in the credit scenes, you have an image of a little blue dart or bullet filled with a blue fluid. And above it says Power Broker watching. Power Broker in the comics being responsible for John Walker.
Yeah.
His strength and everything. So somehow Power Broker, is he involved with them?
Yeah.
Is that why we're getting this? Where are they going to take that?
Skeeter?
So I in my research, I went back and looked, and tried to pull some Easter egg stuff and see what was going on. And there's a lot of references in the numbering systems, like the C-130, the different numbers attached to things lead to different comic books. And if you reference those comic books and you go back and look, it talks about the Flag Smasher kind of tying to, I think it was all individual letters. Ultimatum, I think, is who it was in the comic books. But I think this scene was powerful. I was, I knew as soon as this dude bounced out the window and superhero landed, like, this guy had super soldier serum. And I looked at Griffin, I said, wait, dude, like,
he literally screamed at me and he goes, he's superhero landed.
For the past 2 days, I've been watching superhero landings from, Snyder Cut to this. And I was just like, okay, here we go. Like, this guy's got super soldier serum. Where'd he get it?
Yeah.
Like, there must have been some left over.
And we're about to find out.
But he stomped the whole way that it transferred, when he transferred the bags and the other people took off, and how easy it was for just randoms to walk up and get a mask. That was the only thing that kind of took me by.
Well, that's definitely a modern thing, which we're not going to go into for political reasons, but
we
see that.
Okay.
Flash mobs, flash mobs. That's where it started.
Yeah, let's use that one.
Yeah,
that works.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I just say I want outtakes of Skeeter and Griffin watching this together. Can we get those? Can you guys start recording when you watch the episodes?
Those will be our mid-credit
TikTok.
scenes.
Yes, those will be our credit scenes. I love it.
Nice. Okay, now let's go on to scene 11. We're got to go through this kind of fast because we have 2 scenes left. The banker's the D-bag, like, to a colossal scale. He knew he wasn't going to give him a loan from when they walked in. And can we get selfie? Can we and we all know this. We all know a person like this. Every single person here, if they just popped up in your mind, whoever it is that they are. I'm like, I know this. Guy, I hate this guy. And he plays a perfect bad guy. And I'm not giving you guys anybody. Everyone knows somebody that's like that. Yeah. I think it's interesting that the Avengers don't get paid.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
grants or something.
Tony used to carry the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then Tony died.
Yeah.
And I will say I didn't like that it kind of suggests that Pepper's not taking care of the Avengers. I didn't like that part of it. And I don't know if Tony went bankrupt, to forget about her. Yeah, it irritated me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, because I know that Tony used to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you would assume that,
And not for nothing, but, if the Civil War thing wouldn't have happened, they'd all be getting paid happily. Under a government grant. I'm not saying that's the right thing, but let's be honest. If you're doing it to get paid, there's certain lines they should have went for.
But also realistically, we're going to go back to that 5-year gap. We don't know what structure the government's in based on what happened. So, even the guy that's a complete D-wad, he says, well, all the structures have changed. So that might have affected the Avengers too.
Yeah.
But then the other side of that is, come on, Sam, what'd you do with all that money when you were getting paid?
Well, he was in the military. We don't make that much money.
Yeah, that's
while
true.
We're in.
That's true. He
may be an officer, but he's not making that. He's not making bank by any stretch of the imagination. Skeeter, you had something?
I keep like running through my mind like what happened to all this stuff, like the whole Avengers area, their buildings, their stuff. Like Pepper's still got to be around. That whole piece. There was still this stuff out there. Like that frustrates me. Like to think that now he became he's like not necessarily a vigilante, but somebody's got to take care of his stuff. Somebody's got to fund whatever. But I feel like, whatever is going on, to take care of these guys, we're probably going to see something different. And maybe that's where the other side of this thing is. Maybe that's why the banks are being hit, and stuff like that, because nobody's paying for this stuff. Nobody's paying for these heroes to take care of anybody now. And if a bank can't float it for that kind of PR, that's saying the banks are in trouble, because they will take a PR thing like, oh, this guy literally saved the world. He's going to be in every commercial, and they're going to float that loan.
Yeah. I mean, the other side of it is, and I know I keep pounding on it, but now that I'm thinking about it from a Pepper's perspective, she just lost Tony. She's got a daughter to raise. This has all happened very shortly after. It's like a few months is what I think they say. So, I mean, maybe we'll find out down the road. Maybe we'll just never know.
I honestly think that they're just writing her kind of out. So why would they mention it?
Yeah.
Because she's not. Well, let's be honest. Gwyneth Paltrow is not going to be back in the Marvel Universe anytime soon. So let's just write that out and forget about it. Sort of like they did with Natalie Portman and.
I get the vibe they're trying to just push all the heroes out of the way.
Well, yeah.
At least the U.S. government.
Yeah,
they want them out of the way. They want people they can control.
They complete. They already fought them.
Whoever was running the whole thing, with on the opposite end of Sword, whoever's behind that curtain, that's who's got this thing going the opposite direction.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Sorry, got to move. We got to move to this last scene. This is the big one. I just titled this one Scene 12, Betrayal. This was a total setup from the start. Yes, Sam's mad. He should be. But he shouldn't be mad at the Smithsonian. He should be mad at himself because he let it happen. That was what the plan was when they told him to get rid of it. This there's nothing about this. The new Captain America, we are not going to say who he is this week but we all know who he is. Maybe we'll talk about it next week we don't want to pull too spoiler, but this guy is going to be around for the foreseeable next 10 movies.
He's a tool.
Now the guy that's playing him though is kind of interesting. It is Kurt Russell's real life son, who's actually pretty fun little actor. I like him a lot. But I like to see that multi-generational, both in Marvel. I think that's kind of interesting. So let's get your guys' thoughts on this last scene. Let's start with Tyler this time.
I didn't like seeing the gun on New Cap's hip. That kind of takes away everything. They just crapped on everything that Captain America stood for. I was real upset when I saw that shield. And then you could just see it in Sam. You see the reaction
balling his
on
fists.
his face.
Yeah.
Yep. He knew he messed up. Maybe he should have just shoved that thing in the closet for a little bit.
Yep.
So I can't wait to see where they go from here.
Yeah. Griffin?
The wink at the end killed me.
Fair enough.
That's all I have to say.
Skeeter.
Yeah, not at all. This was like I was already trying to catch my breath from the gut punch from the date night and the apartment visit, and then did you see this? Have you seen this? And then we see this schmishmorshman. I think that's a word, right? It rhymes with that.
That is the PG way of cussing. I like that. There you go. Without getting guitared out.
of the bit, I was like, okay, yep, the Smithsonian did exactly what I knew they were gonna do. Like I didn't like that guy that was with him from the get-go that was up there with Sam. He seemed kind of weird. He seemed kind of off. But at the same time, watching Sam's reaction and seeing the meltdown, like, what did I do? It was, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the movie Sky High. Kind of the same thing happens. Like, he lets the girl of his dreams into the secret sanctum, and she steals the gun, the ray gun, and he ruins everything. Same thing. Hello.
I mean, even when you go back and look at the Smithsonian in the first place, Rhodey was pissed that he did it because he knew. I mean, he didn't know, but he knew, and he was trying to warn him. Yeah. By that time, it was too late. But why didn't he give it to Rhodey? I'm just curious. Christina.
I was ticked. I said several bad words, and I am not as creative as Skeeter to make things up. So just know that I said a lot of them. I was really angry and I was hurt, and I wasn't surprised. Like, I knew at the beginning that something was going to happen, but that was my biggest gut punch. It really was, because in the back of my mind, I thought they were going to try to push it on Bucky too soon.
Yeah.
So when this happened, I was mad.
You still are. That's nice.
I'm still mad. Well, because I watched it for the fourth time right before we started this, so that scene is very fresh in my brain. And it just, it made me so angry. And with Tyler, the biggest thing that made me mad was the gun. Like, not only did you steal Cap, but you're not even close to Cap. Which
it's a propaganda tool now.
Yeah, no. It takes a lot to really make me mad, and they succeeded.
But you know what? They did their job. Everybody on this panel had a reaction. Everybody I've talked to had a reaction. This is the end of the comic book while we're waiting for the next one. Just done right.
I am setting my alarm for midnight, y'all. I'm going to be, I have to know what the next moment is. And, for being such a clear-cut, action-packed film, they really slammed it into us at the end on top of all those other little moments.
Yeah. Oh, so that's a show, guys. Wow. I wish we could talk for like another 20 minutes, but we try not to do these more than an hour. I apologize. We're going a couple minutes over. But go to our website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com. Somebody say it.
We paid extra for it?
We pay extra for it.
There you go. Thank you. Go to our Patreon so that we can pay extra for the .com. You guys, we give you a ton of extra content if you are a Patreon subscriber, and there's more coming every week. It's fun. Go to the Facebook, go to Discord, talk to us. We do talk back. Share our shows with your friends. That is the nicest thing you could possibly do next to Patreon. That helps us out, and that, hey, maybe your friends will like us too, and you can have other stuff to talk about. So until next time, we'll see y'all next week. I'm Dub. I'm here with Skeeter and Christina and Tyler and Griffin. Keep on geeking on, guys.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.